welcome to the Good Boy Podcast, the dog celebration, discussion, storytelling show. I'm your host, Ilya Alexeyev, and this is the first episode of 2019. I've liked a lot of the stuff was able to do last year, but I wanted to try to come up with some more aspects of the show, so I was just thinking about the idea of like segments, and so the idea for the segment, the only idea for a segment I have right now is called Mic Check.
Mic check. Mic check. Mic check.
And it was kind of inspired by that Mikey and Dewey update episode that I did. Was I want to try to still talk about them, but not detract from the kind of main chunk, the body of the show. So I thought I would, I had Mikey Minute, that was my idea. I threw out the idea to Jack, who talked about Jimmy and Polly, and he just asking him for some little music. He whipped something together. He came with the idea of Mic Check. I was like, that's perfect. So this episode's Mic Check was on New Year. Mikey, towards the end of the year, was having a lot of seizures, and they were getting bad. On New Year's Eve, he had at least four. So I wasn't home, so my parents took him to the emergency hospital. They checked him out. His vitals and all of that were all good, but they put him on some medication to reduce the seizures, and it's been going well, but the medication makes him feel hungrier, so he's kind of gotten destructive and has kind of similar to like how a puppy would be, so we're still kind of adjusting to that, but he has been seizure-free that we know of, and he's looking good, seems to be feeling good, so we're looking forward to that. And this was the same thing that happened with Dewey, from what we were told when we adopted him, and so Dewey's kind of weird, has weird behavior, so we were kind of thinking if maybe that was somehow related. I mean, it's just a theory, but he's doing good, so I'm glad to hear that. He's sleeping right now. As I'm recording this, he's got 1 year up, so hope he's listening. Anyway, I would like to do more segments, just to do more fun things, not have it be too restrictive, so I hope people enjoy this. Now, here is the main chunk of the episode.
Mic check. Mic check. Mic check.
Hello, and we're back. So to get into the main chunk of the episode, I have brought my mom on to talk about our previous dog, Sparky. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Ilya.
So when did we get Sparky?
I don't remember the year. I do remember that our dog Chewy was about 15 years old when we adopted Sparky. Actually, we didn't adopt him. Your grandparents adopted him. They wanted to give a senior dog a second chance, so they went to the Santa Rosa Humane Society, and your grandmother fell in love with Sparky. And he was a really good-looking dog. He was a very handsome dog. He was part Australian Shepherd and part Australian cattle dog. He had black and white fur, which was long, and he had one brown eye and one blue eye.
Yeah, I just remember I don't remember exactly when we got him either. I want to say 1999 or 2000 or 2001, somewhere around those few years was kind of what I recall. I think they had moved houses. My grandparents had moved their house or moved to a new house, and I remember seeing Sparky there. So whenever around, do you remember what year?
They moved to Santa Rosa in 1999, so
somewhere around there.
Somewhere around there.
Okay, so that would have put me at 7. So at 7, it was like the greatest thing to have another dog, and the 2 different color eye things was like, whoa. I don't know, like, it was just like, you're a kid, you don't really, a dog's pretty much a dog, but that was like a big differentiating factor. You know, he's got 2 different color eyes. I remember there was a kid on one of my soccer teams who you brought him to a game or practice or something like that, and he's like, his eye got injured and they gave him a new one. You know, like, kids say weird stuff like that. It's like, you don't even know this dog. Like, you're just making up this whole story about him. Do you remember how old he was when we got him? You said senior.
He was 7.
He was 7.
He was 7.
Okay.
But before we move on, getting back to the eye thing, your dad's dad, who has 2 different color eyes, really thought Sparky was special because of the eye thing.
Yeah, I don't think he was necessarily a dog person at all. But
no, he wasn't. But the 2 different colored eyes, you know,
like, hey,
he felt like
I got
kinship.
something in common. Yeah, that's funny. Okay, so my grandparents, they wanted a senior dog, but what happened? They were too senior. They couldn't handle him.
So Sparky apparently was an outside dog. His previous owners never allowed him into the house. So he wasn't housebroken. There was no need for him to be potty trained.
Oh, okay.
So your grandparents brought him home. He was newly neutered at the age of 7 because humane societies don't let you adopt an animal unless it's spayed or neutered.
And the previous owners just
They didn't, because he was an outside dog. He was tied up in the backyard. There was no need for them to do that. So they bring Sparky home. He's kind of out of it because he's, newly out of surgery. And your grandfather starts ringing the doorbell because he wants the dog to start barking because in his mind he wanted to have a watchdog. Well, Sparky didn't bark, and not only did he not bark, he didn't go outside to do his business.
Oh no, I didn't know that. So like the watchdog kind of barking thing's interesting because I mentioned on the episode where we talked about Mikey, where we just got him and he started doing it on his own. I mean, he was 9 months old, so I guess it might be different because he. He doesn't have much prior, training or experience or anything, so he just was doing that. But Sparky, he probably never even heard the doorbell, really, if he's outside, right? I mean,
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So
anyway, your grandfather was really disappointed, and he said, "We're taking this dog back." And your grandmother was very upset because she assumed that if you return a dog, that they would put the dog to sleep. So I offered to take him.
So that might be the case some places. Because some places have too many dogs. So sometimes there's what might seem weird things that they do, but it becomes
Well, I don't know about the Santa Rosa Humane Society. Some animal shelters have a no-kill policy. I don't know whether or not they did.
And then touching on Dewey, I was just telling someone about Dewey where it's like if we didn't if we didn't adopt him, he was going to go to, I forget what I said, Stockton or whatever, somewhere like a couple hours away to some farm. And someone's like, I hope they're joking, but they're like, oh yeah, he went up north, like to the ranch, just kind of as like, yeah, they're going to put him down, kind of thing. And they legitimately told us that he would have gone to this place. But I don't think they meant he would have been put down. But this person was joking that would have happened.
There was actually a farm.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, and Dewey was slated to get a ride up there the next day.
No metaphor, all literal. Okay, yeah. So I don't want to get too sidetracked. So, and you didn't. You felt bad about it?
I felt bad for the dog. It wasn't his fault that he wasn't trained. And, I thought my parents had these great expectations of an animal that, wasn't trained for anything. So, we have a big yard, have 3 kids, have an older dog. Why not bring in another dog?
Okay, so do you know how long they had him for?
A week?
Really?
Not that long.
Because in my brain, I kind of remember, that, like, you telling us that they got a dog, and then just kind of like, they can't handle him. I always thought it was like, he was too strong for them or something when they walked him or something. That's what I thought it was. But
I don't remember that. I mean,
you would remember a lot better than I would.
It was just, from your grandfather's standpoint, it was because the dog was useless as a watchdog. And, I'm sure your grandmother would have, helped teach him to go outside. However, they didn't have a dog door in their house.
Yeah.
So it was...
I mean, yeah, it's not an ideal situation, but fortunately he was able to easily find a home.
Yeah, well, we took him in.
So, how was it having 2 dogs at the same time?
For me? Or...
Oh, well, I totally forgot. Well, just talk about Chewy and Sparky. We can go into, like, the past later. So how was having Chewy and Sparky?
It was fine. I mean, it was...
Were you worried at all, or...?
No, I wasn't. Maybe because I hadn't thought too much about it. So, I mean, it was fine. I mean, Chewy was a really mellow dog. And she was already older, so I didn't think that Sparky would bother her too much. He did try to get into her dog dish one time, and surprisingly, our old lady Chewy let him have it. Like, she snarled at him like nobody's business, and he respected that, and he never went towards her dog bowl after that.
Yeah, we certainly have a different situation in our current house. So, before we get too far, so you have had dogs your whole entire life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how many dogs you've had, or can you count them?
Let's see. Our first dog was a beagle named Rex, who kept running away. After Rex, we had a purebred German Shepherd. Her name was Carmen. And during Carmen's stay, we adopted Brutus, who was a dog that we found at a gas station. And then after those dogs, I think my brother found a dog up at Russian River, and her name was Pretzel. So we had Pretzel for a while. But I think she kept running away. And then we had Zach, who was part wolf, and he was an awesome...
Wolf?
Yeah, he was an awesome dog.
How did you know that? When you adopted him?
Yeah, I don't know how my parents found him. I think they saw an ad in the paper. But this dog, he was beautiful, and he was really tall and lean. Actually, he was being starved by his owner. I don't know for what reason, whether the guy was... Well, obviously he was neglectful.
Psycho or crazy.
Whether it was intentional or not, I don't know. But it took Zach a long time to understand that he would be getting fed regularly.
Was he really big?
He was tall.
He was just tall?
He was tall, yeah. Yeah.
What kind of dog? Like you said, part wolf. What was the other?
Like shepherd.
Okay, did he just basically look like, other than tall, did he look fairly... Because I haven't really seen any dogs that are part wolf, so I was just kind of curious.
He had a really exotic look about him. You
so
could tell he
wasn't.
He was something unusual. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so the Zach.
Zach, and then after Zach, Boomer. And I think Boomer was the last dog that my parents had.
Okay, so not...
I left home when we had Carmen and Brutus.
Oh, so you didn't have Zach.
I didn't have Zach, but...
Okay, so how many is that?
Oh, I didn't count.
You started, so you said...
There was Rex.
Rex.
There was Pretzel. There was Carmen and Brutus.
So that's 4.
4. Yeah, and then 4 dogs.
Zach.
And then Zach and Boomer came after I left.
I remember I was alive for Boomer. Okay, so you had 4 dogs growing up. And then when I was talking to Dad about Chewy, there was Ami.
Ami, yeah. Ami was Dad's mom's dog.
Yeah. Okay, so there's Ami, Chewy, Sparky, Mikey, and now Dewey.
Uh-huh.
That was 9.
I think I'm done.
You think you're done?
Yeah.
Is there one that was the best? I know that's a mean
Chewy.
question.
Chewy was the most awesome dog.
I don't know if I told you this, but I think I titled that episode like Chewy, the perfect dog, or something like that, because that's what Dad said that during that. Okay, so let's go back to Sparky. So, other than that one time with the feeding, no problems.
No problems.
So Chewy was like 8 years older than him.
Yeah, yeah.
And Sparky was a little bigger too.
Yeah, he was probably maybe 60, 70 pounds. Chewy was maybe 40 pounds, 40 or 50 pounds. But he respected her, and I think having him around kind of gave her a little spark. No pun intended.
Oh yeah, Sparky.
Yeah.
Well,
he kind of enlivened her. But then she got sick. So.
Okay, so let's see. I believe I was in 5th grade when Chewy passed away, so that probably puts it around 2003. So we had a couple years of overlap. But so you used to you used to do like everything with the dogs. I mean, Dad would pick up like the poo, but you used to walk them and no problems.
No problems. Yeah, they were easy. Maybe because they weren't as big as our current dogs.
Well, I don't think size is the only problem with them.
I was being nice.
I know you're being nice. Well, I'm slowly I'm shooting video of Dewey all the time and trying to, like, maybe one day be able to, like, make a video and be like, this is this dog's weird behavior.
It's going to be a long video.
Zach being part wolf, you could tell he's different. Dewey's part something else. Like, I don't know. He's weird. And so one kind of memory that I kind of have when I think back to Sparky, and specifically Chewy and Sparky, is having them in the back of your car. Like when we drive somewhere.
Uh-huh.
So you used to have a station wagon.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
What, you're acting like you don't remember. You had a station
I
wagon.
know, no. I
Yeah,
just
okay.
flashed back on something.
Okay. Well, go ahead.
Oh, well, we had just gotten the minivan.
Okay, well, before we go to the minivan.
Okay.
So you had a station wagon, and it had a third row that would face outward,
Yeah.
but you could fold it down and be flat.
Right.
So we would go most of the kind of, I think most of my memory and probably most of the time we drove with both of them is like in the summer when we'd go to grandparents' house.
Mm-hmm.
And so you would have, mom and dad in the front, the 3 boys in the back seat, and then the 2 dogs in the way back. And, they would move around or whatever, but I remember always wanting them to, like, come up, like, right over our shoulders so we could, like, pet them. And, we'd be like, Sparky, or Chewy, whatever, to try to get them so we could pet them while in the car.
Mm.
And you want to go into what you're going to say about the minivan?
Oh, so we just bought the minivan. I don't think Chewy was around anymore. And
Yeah, I don't think they overlap.
We had Sparky in the way back, and he decided to chew on the seatbelt in the way back, and he really messed it up. So when I took my car in for service, I asked the technician to look at the seatbelt, and I just said, "Is that supposed to look like that?"
Oh, because you didn't know?
No, I knew.
Oh, okay, I see.
I knew.
I see.
I didn't want to say my dog ate it.
Or, okay.
I just said, "Is that supposed to look like?"
Because while you were saying that, I was thinking that you were going to say something weird like, man, my kids are weird. Or, try to make it so it's like, whoa, a kid did this?
No, I kind of implied that something must have happened in manufacturing, and I got this defective seatbelt.
What did he say?
They fixed it.
Haha. And we won't say the car company, so hopefully they don't catch us if they're listening.
I wasn't trying to intentionally scam anybody.
The other kind of car, well, I thought of another one, but the first one I was gonna say was you would also take Sparky in the car. I remember you dropping us off at school, like middle school, having him in the back, and you'd have like the Sparky happy dog.
Oh, yeah. What was the name of that musician? Johnny A.
Johnny A. What was the song called?
I don't know.
I can find it.
But
yeah,
that.
Okay, so I wish I could play it, but for like copyright reasons, I can't actually play it on the podcast. But basically, it's just like it's kind of like a pretty upbeat acoustic guitar song, and I don't know, it came on the radio or something, or you were listening to the CD at the time or whatever, and it kind of just like, I don't know, to you it just like worked.
It just epitomized Sparky's personality. It was really upbeat and happy-go-lucky, and it was popular at the time, so there was a lot of airtime to it, I guess, and yeah, I just associated the song with Sparky.
So another, or hopefully the last car story was Dad's jacket.
Yeah, I guess we were driving up to Santa Rosa, and it was kind of a long drive, and I guess Sparky got a little bored, so he needed something to chew on, and Dad's jacket was in the back.
So I think, if I remember, I don't remember 100%, but if I remember correctly, we had like stopped at like the store or so. I feel like we stopped somewhere. Because I feel like we would have noticed if he had just done it while we were driving. But anyway, I remember, we get there. Dad opens up the back door and notices the jacket, and he got really mad.
Yeah. Oh, and I think Sparky did something with Dad's boot too.
That might have been
Mikey?
Might have.
Huh.
Well, anyway, Dad's had some bad luck with the dogs.
Yeah, Dad's not really an animal person. He's only tolerated them because I am.
What did anything happen with the jacket? I mean, is it just ruined?
It was ruined.
It's just ruined.
It was
like on
ruined.
the sleeve, right? I don't.
No, it was the shoulder.
Oh, it was the shoulder.
So you couldn't even
Okay.
repair it.
Couldn't repair it. Okay.
Yeah, it was a wool jacket. You had to
Wool jacket.
chuck it. Yeah.
So you've had a ton of dogs, but actually only a few of them you kind of picked out, right? Like basically Chewy.
I picked Chewy, or
But-
actually, she picked us.
Well, but all the ones growing up you didn't really pick, right?
No,
Okay, well, because I was gonna ask just like if the type of dog that you wanted changed as you've gotten older.
Actually, it hasn't, because whenever I go look on the Humane Society webpage, I'm always drawn to the big dogs. I like German Shepherd types. I like Lab types. Yeah, that's what I'm drawn to.
Okay, I mean I like those ones too, so I'm cool with that. I was just curious because I don't know, maybe. Okay, that's definitely a fair answer. So what is it like having, just in general, having a dog while having kids? Speaking of dogs, there's Dewey.
There's Dewey. Well, I think it's really important for kids to have animals in their lives. Hi, Dewey. Except for maybe Dewey. I mean, I don't know. I've always had animals in my life. I just think it's a really nice relationship that develops between kids and dogs. I mean, when you guys were born, Chewy was, well, when Ian was born, Chewy was 2. And then 5 when you guys were born. But she was always so gentle around you guys and so protective. And I don't know, I think having any kind of pets is a nice experience. I mean, as a parent, you would hope that children would take more responsibility in the caring of the pets. That doesn't usually happen, even though.
Yeah, I mean, well, because it's like dogs are the greatest thing, but it's like, who likes picking up poo? Or, it's exciting to come home and just go. I mean, imagine me as a kid just run home and like, yeah, and you start running around. And the dog's there, and the dog's excited. Like, that's the good part. No one wants to feed the dog or walk the dog or
pick up after the dog. Yeah. But dogs are, they have such nice personalities. They're always happy to see you. And even if you yell at them, they still love you. Right? They think you're the best thing. So they just kind of make you feel better.
I also think, too, that, I mean, we talked a lot about, a little bit in this one, but obviously a lot in the Chewy episode, that Chewy was a great dog to have with kids. I'm not 100% sure how Mikey would have been. I think he would have been fine, but, like, I remember you telling me before that, like, you grab the dog by the ear. Little kids grab the dog by the ear or grab their lip or things like that, and you don't always know how a dog will react to that.
Yeah, I think Mikey is good to have with older kids because he's so strong. He doesn't know his own strength. That I think if we had him when you guys were little, I think you probably would have been hurt a lot more. Not because he would intentionally want to hurt you. But,
okay.
But he's too strong. I mean, I can't walk him. He's just too strong. He's all muscle.
And then Sparky was pretty docile. Like, he was calm, so it didn't really have any issues like that. I think I'll have a couple walk stories, but before I go into walking him, so I around then when we eventually pretty early on while having Sparky is when you would have us walk home from school, and there was one time where we'd walked home, and I guess first of all, we would get home, and I think Sparky would sleep near the front door, because there are times where we just hear like a, I don't know if that came up on the mic, but it was like him like smelling under the door, and like I remember there was a few times where I was like, what is that? And then I realized, oh, he's trying to smell under the door.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember that about him.
I thought that was weird. And then there was a few times when we first got him that he would burst out of the front door when we got him. So there was the three of us had to try to like figure out how to like barricade, make a little wall or barricade with our legs, because he would just come. I don't know if he was just excited or what, but he wanted to run out. And there's one. I remember one of the first times is one of us was holding like our house key, and it got like lost, but it ended up being just in the plants,
yeah.
Like in the front.
Yeah.
But I was like thinking like that was like such a horrible thing to happen. But he would sometimes we'd leave the front door open and he would start walking. He'd smell the neighbor's grass and then start walking towards the restaurant that we have near us. Like I mentioned, Dewey did when he ran away. But other than that, there wasn't really any issues.
No, actually, when we had him a little bit longer, I would be able to work out in the front yard, and he would just hang out with me. And then he would get bored and he'd start maybe wandering down the street. But it's not like he bolted to try to get away. He was just,
Yeah, that's good. I remember I was a little disappointed that he didn't pick up the newspaper like Chewy did. But I think that's a little unfair.
Well, we didn't train Chewy to do that. She did that on her own. And just like Mikey is a really good watchdog, we had nothing to do with that.
I know.
That's him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we didn't train Dewey to take socks, but he does it anyway.
That's right.
So I'm trying to think. Okay, so here are my walking Sparky stories. So one involves me and one involves Ian. Ian was the one who I had on the Dewey episode, for anyone who doesn't remember who he is, and he's my older brother. During the summer, and this is like middle school for me, you would make us walk the dog. So we would, three of us, we'd alternate. And I remember I was still kind of, I don't know why, but I was still kind of scared to like even go down the street in the middle of the day by myself. I don't know, or whatever. I was scared. Yeah, so there's one time where I only went down to the, down just like it's a decent block, but I went down the block and then I came back. That's probably like 5th or 6th grade, but that was, by myself, that was a little nerve-wracking for me. I don't think I ever told you that.
No, that's news to me.
I mean, but you would walk him a good mile plus.
Oh, man, I don't remember about Sparky, but Chewy and I would go on a 5-mile walk.
Mikey used to get those. Sorry, Dewey's right, like lying down right next, literally touching my leg.
Yeah, he wants to be part of the podcast.
He's been part of a couple already. You can hear him barking or whatever. I recorded on 4th of July, and then he's barking for the fireworks, and I was like, ugh, I wish I didn't have to record on 4th of July, but I don't remember which episode.
Well,
I think that was
if
Jack.
you're doing a podcast about dogs, then it's
Yeah,
kind of appropriate.
Yeah, see, it's making it more authentic. So then there's one time when Ian walked him, and still have made fun of him for this, is he was just being extremely lazy. I'm going to walk him in the backyard. So he puts the leash on him and is trying to walk him around, and then he's kind of just like, what? Every dog I've seen gets excited to go for a walk, but he was just confused, like, he was not walking as if you'd walk on a walk, because he's just in his own backyard that he knows how it smells. I don't know how long he went, and he wasn't there for that long in the back, because your backyard's not always interesting, because you know it.
Well, I mean, the whole point of going on a walk is to smell different smells, and, it's like Facebook for dogs.
How was he with other, on walks? How was he with other dogs?
I think he was fine. I don't really remember any issues.
Did he not care? Like, some dogs, Dewey doesn't care unless he gets direct contact with the dog. I don't know if he's blind or what. He doesn't care. I
don't think Sparky cared. He was just he was a mellow dog.
Yeah.
Well.
And let's see. Well, I guess before I go into mine, do you have any other general Sparky stories that you can think of? Like, this exemplified Sparky.
Sparky and the guinea pigs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so I think I talked about the guinea pigs with Dad, where they would eat their poop. Sparky would eat the guinea pig poop.
So he was just really fascinated by them, and I'm not sure if he wanted to play with them, or if he wanted to chew on them, or if he wanted to
just smell them.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what the fascination was, but you guys used to have the guinea pig cages on top of your dressers. And
so that's a good, 4 feet or something like that?
Yeah. And I guess I had gone to pick you guys up from school, and we come back, and the guinea pig cage was upside down on the floor because Sparky had gotten up on your bed and pulled down.
Was able to reach it.
He pulled down the guinea pig cage. Fortunately, the cage did not open, and the guinea pigs were okay.
Well, yeah, not even that it opened, but just in general that they were okay.
Yeah.
Because,
it was upside down, so it...
even if it... Yeah, it just made me think of, when you're watching a movie and they have a camera inside the car when a car gets, flipped over.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, so... That was one thing about Sparky and the guinea pigs. And then we had this yellow plastic
Oh, yeah,
ball.
I forgot about that. I'm so glad you remembered.
And,
I totally forgot about that.
I don't exactly remember... All I remember about this ball is that you were able to put the guinea pig inside it,
Yeah, it's like
and it can roll around.
It's like a hamster. It's just like a hamster ball. And the idea, or guinea pig ball. And you just, put them in there, put the lid on, and they would go.
And
now,
then,
and ours weren't really interested in it. We wanted them to, especially if you remember the Malcolm in the Middle, where they had a class. Do you remember that?
Uh-uh.
They had a class, mouse or whatever, small animal, and Dewey, the character, not the dog, before he returned it, he filled the ball full of food and let the hamster or whatever it was free. and in a bunch of episodes you kind of just see it rolling by in the background. So we wanted something like that, but just in our own house. But they weren't into it. But I guess they were in there long enough where it smelled like them. And so we had, I'm in middle school. We're wild and crazy. Our house probably wasn't the cleanest. So we had it somewhere where he could access it. So he put his head in it to smell it or something, and it got stuck for a bit. So we have a picture of it. I'll share it, but we do have a picture of it where it's, think of
it was like a space helmet on him.
Do you remember the Russian dog? What's his name?
Laika?
That went into space? Yeah, something like that, where you'd picture, or it's just like this ball on the dogs. But it was ours was translucent yellow.
Yeah.
That was a great one.
Yeah, so that was pretty funny.
I think one thing that I kind of remember, this was towards the later part of Sparky, was I had a free morning period. This was freshman year of high school, and so Ian did too, and so he would I guess you would drop off Dima at school and go to work, and we would walk to school. But since we had a free period on some days, Sparky would think we were gone, so he would start howling, oh, because he was lonely. And then that always bugged Ian. But I don't really remember it bugging me. I remember him recently telling that story. But I just have this specific memory of, this may have been then or maybe slightly earlier, where I was just sleeping and I think I didn't have a box spring or something where my bed was kind of low. I don't remember the situation, but my bed was lower than a normal bed. And I woke up because he just came up to me and smelled my face. And it didn't bother me, but it was the most gentle way to be woken up, because you feel just a little bit of air, and you're just kind of huh? And then there's a dog right in front of your face. I don't think he ever went on my bed.
No, I don't think so.
But
yeah.
And then cause I mentioned freshman year because I remember kind of around that time was where he couldn't go up the stairs anymore.
Yeah, his back legs were starting to give out, and then eventually he spent most of his time in the family room.
Yeah, so just our room that's connected to the outside.
And then when he would try to get up, he would pee a little bit because he couldn't. I mean, it took a lot of effort for him to get up on his hind legs. And so it got to the point where we felt that wasn't really a good way for him to live.
Yeah, I remember having to... I don't remember how I could tell if he'd bark or something, but I could tell he needed to go to the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would kind of... You know how when kids can barely walk and they stand on the parent's feet and the parent kind of walks and folds their arms? I would kind of do something similar to that, except I would kind of just hold his torso area, his ribs, and kind of just allow him to have a balance and be able to. That's what I always pictured, kind of what I was doing, but just allow him to balance and go to the bathroom outside.
Yeah. Towards the end, it was really difficult for him, and so I remember it was in December.
Yeah, so
it was before Christmas. It was the 23rd of December, actually.
Are you sure? I always thought it was the 24th.
No, it was the 23rd.
Okay.
And I'm not sure why Dad was home, but I had to go to work.
I mean, I could really quickly, because I was home, because I have a story about that. But that was about 10 years ago now. I mean, in December, but 10 years. Let's see. So we're in December 23rd was a Tuesday. Maybe he was off work. Sorry. 2009. Sorry. I'm ruining the show. December 23rd was a Wednesday. So maybe he had Wednesday, Thursday, Friday off at work or something.
Something. I had to go to work.
But I was home from school.
Yeah.
Because this was my senior year of high school. Yes, because we got Mikey right after we got Sparky.
Are you sure it was senior year? I thought it was junior year.
No, senior year, because we got him right after.
We got him on the 26th.
I know, but just a couple of days.
Yeah, I know.
That was senior year.
Well, I'm not sure about that.
I am sure.
Okay.
Mom, I have pictures
Okay.
of Mikey from 2009, not 2009, from like February 2010. And I graduated in 2010 in June.
Okay.
Well, anyway, sorry for that. But the point is that we had just a couple days between
Sparky and Mikey. Yeah.
So I kind of have a story. I don't know if you know this. But so yeah, I went with Dad to the veterinary hospital to have him put to sleep, and I was just kind of thinking, whatever you would think, this sucks. I don't want this to happen. I wish he could live longer, whatever, that kind of stuff. And then the song was on the radio, and it was Baba O'Reilly by The Who. You know the song.
Mm-hmm.
And if it was like any song, like I'm not particularly a big Who fan. Like I don't really go out of my way to listen to them. But that was like the theme song for some CSI, one of the CSI show, I believe CSI New York. So I was like more familiar with the song, and so that happened to be on the radio while we were driving over, and I remember thinking, like, whenever this thing, like, I'll always remember doing this because this song is playing. So so I always remembered that.
Yeah. It's funny how you associate certain situations with certain songs.
Well, I didn't want to quite end it there, even though it sounded like we were going that way, because that did make me think of another story, which is a lot more lighthearted. Was in 8th grade, we did a school trip to Washington, D.C., and I remember being on the plane. I can't remember which direction it was. I think it was on the way going there. And it's summer, so I'm wearing shorts. And I remember seeing a dog hair. I think maybe it was when we landed going there. And I see a dog hair on my short. And I was like, huh. This is Sparky's hair. And he was black and white, so it was half black and half white. And I was like, oh, this made it. And I think it's just a hair, but I think I put it in my pocket or something like that. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool,
Yeah, well.
But I guess going back to kind of the end of Sparky, it was kind of a weird experience because it was such a short time period, especially one of those days being Christmas where you're not really paying it. It's not if you celebrate Christmas, it's not a normal day, so you're out of your normal environment. So, like, it felt like no time. So, like, I feel like there was, like, no real, like, grieving period or anything like that. Because we had Sparky, and then we got Mikey, and then Mikey's just this explosion of energy, and it just kind of, like, instantly forget any kind of sad or negative feelings.
Is that good or bad?
Well, it depends, because I think it's mostly good, because I didn't. I mean, obviously, I can only speak from what I remember about that. But for me, it was a good thing because I wasn't down. And you're like completely distracted by something else.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess it could be negative too, because you may not take the time to think about the dog.
You think you shortchanged Sparky?
I hope not, but I mean, maybe I did.
Well, probably not.
Yeah, because we did have him for a long time.
Yeah, we did.
Including him being a senior dog.
So we probably
Getting him as a senior.
I think we had him for 8 years.
Well, the math that
I think he was 15 when we put him down.
It was 2009. Whatever, that's not the point. We had him for a long time, so
well,
I don't think I shortchanged him.
Look at it this way: he came to us. He had a good life, and you know what more can you ask for?
Yeah. So I almost forgot this. So apologies if this sounds kind of like rough on the audio, but and I'll edit it in the podcast one. But Ian and Craig recorded some music, and they have a song called Sparky Don't. So I want to play you just part of it. But before I play it, there's also, they had a, I don't think it's on here, but they had like they played like just these like weird random notes, like bung, 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 and they're like, they're just obviously joking, but they're like, this song is to mesmerize Sparky. I don't know, they're weird. Anyway, so here, you're going to have to lean in so you can get into... Actually, I'll just play on the speakers. So here is just a taste of Sparky Don't.
We're at the Lollipop downtown, having ourselves a time. See horses walking on land, drinking Kool-Aid lime. Do you believe in evolution? Sparky don't, Sparky don't. Sparky don't, Sparky don't. Do you believe in pollution? Sparky don't, Sparky don't.
I just remember something else about Sparky.
Okay, what?
He was really terrible at burying things.
Oh, yeah. There's two things about that. Oh, well, real quick, what'd you think of that song? They edited their voices, so it's not like their natural...
I didn't really care for it. I'd rather listen to Johnny A.
Well, okay. Yeah, the point... I wasn't necessarily looking for your critical take on it. I was just... thought that was funny. Like, there was kind of like this kind of like persona built up around Sparky between those guys.
Like, what was the thing about Sparky Don't? What was he doing that he didn't need to do?
I don't know. I'll have to ask.
Because I don't remember Sparky being naughty per se.
I don't know. They're weird high schoolers when they did this. I don't know what it was about. But yeah, you have a bearing story, and I have another one to go along with it.
So we used to have these Sesame Street Christmas ornaments that are made out of paper mache, and he would pull them off the Christmas tree and then go out in the backyard and bury them, but he wouldn't bury them completely. So he'd walk out in the backyard, and you see the little loop from the Christmas ornament, or it was just half buried. The other thing he used to take was the butter off the table.
Sparky?
Yeah.
I didn't know he did that.
Yeah. We
I know
had
we have a couple butter thieves
we-
in the room right now.
We had a butter dish that was a Tupperware butter dish, so it's plastic. So it's something that he could grab.
Oh.
And I don't remember. He probably ate the butter, but then you would find, a half buried butter dish.
Oh, I didn't know he did that.
Oh, and
because I
then-
remember the dog treats. Do you remember that?
Well, I remember your grandmother getting him those rawhide bones, and he would be very polite, and he would take them, and she would be so happy. And then he'd go out in the backyard, and you'd find half of it sticking out of the ground.
So the one that I remember was we had a box of like Scooby Snack brand or whatever dog treats, and he like partially buried like the box. And it was like kind of ripped on the top, but he didn't even eat all of them.
I don't know. I don't know what goes through a dog's
Yeah. Oh,
mind.
another thing that I remember too is you telling. It said that he liked the ball
Oh, yeah. Total fabrication.
because Chewy. By the time I was like old enough to like want to throw the ball to her, she didn't care about the ball at all. And so I was like, "Oh, finally, I got a dog I can throw the ball to."
Yeah, he didn't care about
He
that
didn't care
either.
about it at all. He didn't care about any toys.
Yeah, I should have saved that paper. It said some other stuff about him too, but it wasn't true. I think they were just trying to get him
The
adopted.
sales pitch, yeah.
Yeah, they were just trying to get him adopted.
Well, we
Yeah.
fell for it.
Yeah, we did.
Is there anything else you want to say about Sparky?
I really can't think of anything.
Okay.
Oh, I
Oh, go
do
for it.
remember something. So like I had mentioned earlier, he wasn't housebroken, and so bringing him here didn't miraculously make him housebroken either. So he kept peeing in the house, and I wasn't very successful in explaining to him that that's not what we do. So one time I was on the floor in the family room. I don't know what I was doing. And Sparky's in there, and all of a sudden he lifts his leg and starts peeing right in front of me.
I don't know. I didn't know.
And I was so frustrated that I went, "Rrrr!" And he looked at me. And after that, he never peed in the house again.
That's great.
I know. If I'd known what I said, I would have said it sooner.
Yeah, definitely. You just got to growl.
I just growled, yeah.
Okay, so I got a tough one for you.
Okay.
Who's better, Sparky and Chewy or Mikey and Dewey? And I will reiterate that Mikey and Dewey are in the room.
I'm not really worried about offending them. I don't know. You can't really compare.
I know that I just thought you'd get a kick out of it. And you can't compare.
We had a senior dog and a more senior dog. Well, now we have two senior dogs here. I don't know. These two are knuckleheads.
I feel like they learn bad habits from each other.
Yeah, that they do.
We need another Chewy.
Yeah, she was an awesome dog.
So I guess, do you think definitively, like, you, after these two are gone, that you won't get another dog, or is it too hard to say that?
Probably not. Having an animal is a big responsibility. I mean, you guys walk my dog for me. Last time I walked him was, when I first got him, and after that,
Well, I don't blame you. He's annoying.
Actually, I find him easier to walk.
No, he is
than
easy, but he
than
is easy to
Mikey.
walk. But he,
I know.
I don't want to talk about him.
He's a
He's
little
anno-
distracted. It would be nice not to have all this dog hair all over the place. It would be nice to walk out in the backyard and not have to worry about stepping in poop. It would be nice to actually have maybe a lawn in the back.
Did having to pick up dog poop, did you do that at all as a kid?
No.
I mean, when you walked them, even? I mean, you must have, right?
You know, I really don't remember.
I was just going to ask if that helped with, like, having babies and, like, changing diapers. Because I feel like I haven't changed diapers, but, I mean, I feel like I'm less sensitive to poop, having to pick up... I picked up dog poop today. Like, less sensitive about poop than people who don't have to.
Maybe that's good training, then.
Well, don't worry, I'm not planning anything soon, so...
Well...
Okay, so, you know, it's easy to want a dog, but I think you're veteran enough having dogs where you can kind of say, like, you know, maybe you have a break for a while. Maybe that's a month. Maybe it's 2 years. Maybe it's longer. You never know until it happens, but...
You don't know. You know, if I were to get a puppy now, it really wouldn't be fair to the puppy because...
So you're saying is you
I'm
will get a puppy?
No, I wouldn't. I think if I were to adopt another dog, I would consider maybe adopting a senior dog.
But that's good because not everyone wants senior dogs. And so that helps, you know, have a different spread of dogs be adopted.
The thing of it is that you would need to, I feel, be home to have either a puppy or a senior dog. I mean, a senior dog comes with baggage. You know, all these bad habits. I mean, look at this one. I mean, this is the kind of dog that I thought we were going to get.
Doing nothing.
That's the kind of dog I expected.
He's sleeping. He's very calm.
Yeah.
Mikey's snoring.
I
don't know
know.
if it probably doesn't come up on the mic, but he's literally snoring right now.
So, you know, and then you can't really just pick up and go. What if we wanted to go away for the weekend spontaneously?
Yeah.
Can't, because, you know, you got to find somebody to...
Bring the dog with you.
Yeah. What's the point of going?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Right now, I'm happy with who we have, and I'll be looking forward to a break, though I don't expect that to happen anytime soon.
Okay, well, I think that wraps it up. Appreciate you coming on and talking.
Well, thanks.
I know you're
for
my
having
mom,
me.
so you kind of have to. You know, otherwise, like...
Well, I was kind of wondering when you were going to ask me, but...
Well, so I had a bunch of people who I wanted to get, and I always knew, like, okay, I have mom in the back pocket whenever I need mom, so I'm going to try to get other people. But cool, well, thanks for telling stories, and it was fun to go down some memory lane.
Yeah.
And talk about Sparky, so...
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for letting me be a part of your podcast, and I hope it was okay.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Okay.
It better be fine. You better like it. All right. Well, thanks for listening. If you like the show, please rate it wherever you're listening to it. iTunes is a great place to do that. Share it with your friends. Make your brother listen to it. Spread the word. I tweet out very occasionally at the Good Boy Pod, and when the new episodes go live, they post on Facebook. So you can check it out on Facebook, and it goes on YouTube. But then for all your standard podcast things, Google Play, Spotify, iTunes, it should be there. If you wanted to follow me, I'm just at my name, at Ilya Alexeyev. If you can figure out how to spell that, you win. If not, I don't blame you. Thanks for listening, and keep petting those dogs.